like they have for unending ages. But even if one would ever grow weary, then God would just pull back the curtain, and just for a moment, and one fleeting look of His glory, and I know for certain they cry, holy, holy, all over again, and one more glimpse of all that He is, forever and ever, a song without end, holy, holy, all over again. I'm sure angels shouted in wonder and awe when God spoke the world into being. And they must have thundered that day at the cross, at the sacrifice that they were seeing. But when Jesus rose that first Easter morning, when the battle was fought and He'd won it, oh, can you imagine the scene at the throne and the great song of joy that erupted? They cried, holy, holy, all over again, at one more glimpse of all that He is, forever and ever, a song without end, holy, holy, all over again. Worthy, glory, the song will always be sung. One day the redeemed will add to its beauty, and we will all sing as one. Holy, holy, all over again, and one more glimpse of all that He is, forever and ever, a song without end, holy, holy, all over again. Holy, holy, all over again, and one more glimpse of all that He is, forever and ever, a song without end, holy, holy, all over again. Whoa. Whoa. I could take you to the time when I was lost, before forgiveness came and brought me to the cross.
Well, good morning, Faith Baptist Church family. It is Thursday morning, May the 27th. Can you believe that? A Monday is Memorial Day. Wow. The month just kind of moved quickly, and we do have some very important dates that are coming up. The young people are going to camp in July. Please remember that. And we got some other things we're going to share with you here before the broadcast is done this morning, just to remind you of some very important dates coming up. But last night, we had a really sweet service in the auditorium. I don't know how many folks were watching on live stream, but we had a good group of folks here present. Brother David Hart from Orange Avenue Baptist Church in Fort Pierce was here preaching for us last night. Brother David's always a joy and a blessing, and we were glad to have him last evening preaching to us. He was here because he was at the International Student Convention. ACE puts that on every year. Now, they didn't do it last year because of COVID concerns and issues, but every year since about early to mid-70s, ACE has been putting on a national or international student convention. Kids from all over the country came this week to Word of Life, Florida, and they were competing in all kinds of different events. It's much like what goes on at the regional student convention, only on a much larger scale. We had schools from Arkansas and Virginia, South Carolina, Kentucky, Florida. We had kids from all over the country that came and participated in this event. Brother Tim and I had the honor to be able to officiate the basketball tournament that they had this year. The first time we've ever done that. And it was a real honor and a joy for us to be able to help like that. So that's where we were Monday and Tuesday. If you missed me on Tuesday, then that's where I was. I was there officiating the basketball tournament for the International Student Convention. Now, we took several of our academy kids out to, pardon me.
It's an update on student convention. The girls are placing in something.
Okay. This is why I never bring my cell phone to church with me. Very, very seldom do you ever find me with my with my cell phone at church, because of that da-donging, da-dinging, da-donging, and that kind of stuff that you just heard. So I apologize for that, but I have this for a reason. I'll share that with you in just a minute. But our academy kids are out at the International Student Convention this morning. It is awards day, so they'll be receiving awards for the things that they've been competing in. They give the first 6 places, and we're excited for them. It's just an opportunity. The idea behind the student convention is to help kids and encourage young people to use their talents and their gifts and their abilities to serve the Lord. Some of them can sing, some of them can play an instrument, some of them can give an illustrated storytelling. That would be a lot like teaching or teaching a Sunday school class, something like that. Some of them are preaching. I am really sorry. I'm gonna share with you what I wanted to share with you, and then I'm going to shut this thing off. Okay? It's okay, Tim. I'll get it in a minute. For this day in history, ship carrying 937 Jewish refugees. They were fleeing from Nazi Germany. This took place on this date in 1939. They went to Cuba, and Cuba turned them away. They appealed to the U.S. to take them, and the U.S. turned them away. Then they appealed to Canada to take them, and the Canada turned them away. So they eventually went back to Europe and were distributed amongst several countries there, Britain and France being 2 of them that took those refugees. The thing about that is that during those days, during the reign of the Nazis in Germany, there were a lot of Jews that saw the persecution that was coming, and they were fleeing the country. Germany required the Jews that were fleeing the country to pay this year's taxes and next year's taxes before they allowed them to leave. I thought that was interesting. A couple of other things here that caught my attention this morning. In 1941, today in 1941, this is about 7 months or so before Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt proclaims an unlimited national emergency in response to the Nazi threats. So they could see what was going on in Europe, and they were trying to plan and prepare. Didn't know that Pearl Harbor was on its way. And then in 1861, as the Civil War broke out, President Abraham Lincoln suspended the writ of habeas corpus. On this day in history, in 1861, his suspension of habeas corpus was challenged. And I don't know by who, but it was challenged, and I think that the president won that challenge. Anyway, I'm going to turn my cell phone off now because I don't want any more interruptions. I don't want to go back to telling you about regional student convention and international student convention, because it encourages our young people that God has gifted with talents and abilities to use to serve the Lord in the local church. And we're thankful for that. Now, they do other things too. They do athletics. They run track. Now, they didn't run track this year in a scale down version of the international convention, but normally they run track. They have music where kids sing solos, do